Hi, everybody. So this week I chose to read Number the Stars by Lois Lowry and The Giver, also by Lois Lowry. Um, Number the Stars connects to Anne Frank, Diary of a Young Girl, and The Giver connects to The Great Gatsby. Number the Stars takes place in Denmark during Nazi occupation during World War II, and Anne Marie is of Christian descent, and her best friend Ellen Rosen is of Jewish descent. And Anne Marie's family um, helps save Ellen's family and many others also. I had never read the book, so I really thought that it would be a great idea for me to read the book. I had heard that it was a very good read, and of course, Anne Frank, Diary of a Young Girl is a very important book for kids to read also. The Giver, I had never read that either, which I'm surprised myself that I didn't ever read that. And Great Gatsby is one of my favorite titles, so I really wanted to have a young adult literature book that I could connect Gatsby to, pair it with it. The Giver is about a boy named Jonah who is part of a collective society where the community, everybody is the same. They get assigned jobs. No one is an individual. Everybody's the same. I would teach, I'm going to tell you now how I would go about connecting them. I would teach Gatsby in class because I think there's so many points that need to be discussed with the kids about the time period, and there's so much symbolism in it that sometimes kids miss that would really need to be discussed. But then I would also give The Giver as an independent read that would be discussed in class, and I would have small group discussions about morals, freedom, society, government, rules, and the American dream versus communal living. The film, since both of those have films, they can be used to enhance comprehension as well as establish what details were changed from book to film. For the students to respond to literature, I would have them compare and contrast, the American Dream Society compared to this collective society that Jonah lives in. They could do book trailers. They could write a review of the story or the film, do book talks, or even make a short film. I thought that would be kind of cool, have them reenact, a scene from one of the books and present it to the class, and do that as groups. Or they could even develop their own utopian society. I thought that would be kind of fun for them also. One quote from The Giver that I thought would really connect to The Great Gatsby can be found on page 193. It says, "The worst part of holding the memories is not the pain, it's the loneliness of it. Memories need to be shared." And that's from The Giver. Jonah is saying that, and it connects with Jay Gatsby in the Great Gatsby, because Jay Gatsby's lonely because he's living in the past with his memories of loving Daisy, and he loses Daisy because she chooses money over love. And so I just thought that was a very good quote from the book that connected to it. As a springboard for teaching Gatsby, I would talk about society, its positives and its flaws, talk about investigating the two societies, the collective society and the 1920s, the Roaring Twenties. What was society like? And have the kids really compare and contrast the societies What are the good aspects, the bad aspects? Which one's better or worse? For Number of the Stars and Anne Frank, I think a really good activity would be to have journal diary writing, since it's based on Anne Frank's diary. And I think a quote that I found in Number of the Stars that would connect to Anne Frank is found on page 118 and 119. Anne Marie's talking to her uncle, and she says, "Mama sent your lunch," she said, her voice quavering. "But soldiers stopped me, and they took your bread." She didn't dare tell him more. Henrik glanced quickly into the basket. She could see the look of relief on his face and knew that it was because he saw the packet was there, even though it was torn open. "Thank you," he said, and the relief was evident in his voice. Anne Marie looked quickly around the familiar small boat. She could see down the passageway into the empty cabin. There was no sign of the Rosens or the others. Uncle Henrik followed her eyes and her puzzled look. "All is well," he said softly. "Don't worry. Everything is all right." And that connects to Anne Frank when Miep Geiss was helping the Frank family and hiding the Frank family upstairs from the OFS building from the Nazi soldiers. These two books are a great use of using fiction and nonfiction together. Anne Frank's diary is obviously nonfiction. Number of the Stars is fictional, but it also has some true aspects in it based on the life of a friend of hers who lived in Denmark at the time and was Jewish. And, they both deal with World War II, the Holocaust, and religious persecution. Another book that I've read that was listed in the titles that you could choose is The Kite Runner, which could also be used to pair. You could even do leveled readings based on the quality of your, the readers that you have in your classroom, because Kite Runner is definitely for older kids. But that would be a good way to pair books up with those two titles. And I also watched the film Percy Jackson and the Sea of Monsters, based on the series by Rick Riordan. It's an action-packed adventure with mythology mixed in. I think kids would really, really like that. And if you have kids that, are reluctant readers, showing them that movie might inspire them to read some of the books in this series. Okay, talk to you later. Bye.